YouTube, what's going on? It's Juan Gotti here with another video, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about why Redskins fans, including myself, must stay patient and trust the process. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. But before we do, make sure you guys go down below, leave a like on this video, subscribe if you're new, and turn on post notifications so you get notified when I upload a video about the NFL, or in this case, our Washington Redskins. Let's get straight into today's video. So this video kind of tie into what my last video was, which it was, how long is it going to take before the Redskins actually contend for a Super Bowl? And in that video, I gave you my synopsis. If you didn't see that video, go watch it. But I gave you my synopsis on how long I believe that it's going to take for Ron Rivera and this staff to get things rolling. And I said approximately next year is probably where I expect us to take off. But don't be surprised if we do take off quicker than that, perhaps this upcoming season. So to follow up that video, I did say in that video, stay patient. You know, it's not going to happen overnight. That's exactly what I said. Those were my words in that video when I did make it. So I'm just following up that video to tell Washington Redskins and why it's important for Washington Redskins to be patient. Because the key word, patient, is what we need to have on a big screen, have on our walls, have on something that you're going to see every day. On your phone, probably laptop, you know, computer background, whatever. You have to have the word patient on there somewhere, because it's big to stay patient. Now, for myself, I'm gonna speak for myself, and I know what rest of Redskins Nation could also agree on this, but I know for myself and a lot of other Redskins fans for sure that we tend to be impatient. We tend to be impatient, and that's with every sports team, every sports, you know, league, fan base. When their team is, you know, not the best, or, you know, haven't been the best for a long time, they tend to get impatient. That, and whether that's, you know, stop rooting for the team, stop watching that sport in general, or maybe even switch your team to the next nearest city or next nearest team, which in the Washington Redskins case is the Baltimore Ravens. Oh, I'm gonna become a Ravens fan now because you know, we haven't been good for 20 years. You know, I need to switch teams to go to a team that's balling. So that's what I mean by, you know, you have to stay patient. And I know, Redskin Nation, I know that it's been 20 years. It's been 20, 30 years since the Redskins have been good. Since the Redskins have been good. I mean, the Redskins ran the 80s. They ran the 80s. 3 Super Bowl rings, non-stop NFC Championship appearances. We ran the 80s. We ran the 80s, early 90s, and I know it's been a long time. I know it's been a long time to taste that glory. To taste that glory, I mean, we haven't had winning in 20 years. And I know you can say, well, 2012 we had a winning season. 2005 we made it to the playoffs. 2015 we made it to the playoffs, but that's not consistent. You see how long those you know, winning seasons are apart from each other. Well, yeah, 2005 we had a winning season, I guess you would say, since we made the playoffs. 2012 won the playoffs. You see how long that difference is? It's a long difference. 2015, I mean, I guess that's a 3-year span, but still not consistent. We haven't had consistent winning since the 80s, and that's just the truth. That's the brutal truth of it. And I know, Redskins fans, I know, including myself, that we get impatient because we want this team to win. We miss this team being in the playoffs, being in this dance every single year. We need this team to be good. And I know it's been a long time, so I know that we tend to get impatient because it's just like, I'm just not what I'm used to. And for myself, you would expect me to be impatient, and quite frankly, I have been over these past years. I have been impatient, but you can't be mad at me because I'm just like, I want to win. I hate losing. And for me, as a Redskins fan, I never seen this team be successful. I never seen this team be successful, well, at least on a consistent basis. Yes, I seen the 2012 playoff run with RG3. Of course, I seen the 2015 season when we you know, made it to the playoffs and played Green Bay with Kirk Cousins, and I also experienced the 2016 heartbreak with Kirk Cousins through that interception. So I experienced, you know, heartbreaks, and I experienced, you know, playoffs, but I haven't experienced consistent winning. Consistent winning, because that's where I'm saying most of my channel is made up of, you know, play or fans or subscribers that, you know, experience that glory day win, glory days when the Redskins were consistently winning every single year. And they tell me all the time is that, oh, you're not used to winning, or you're not, you know, you're not desperate for a championship, or why are the older people desperate for a championship? They say, well, we haven't experienced winnings in 20 years. But I'm saying to them, and this is no shot at them at all, because I mean we all feeling the same pain. But me, I haven't experienced nothing, and I'm gonna say majority of Redskins fan base hasn't experienced nothing over those 20 years, because I mean most of us weren't even born, and I'm not gonna say most of us, but majority of us weren't born during the glory days. So I would say we kind of have a right to be impatient, because I mean at least you guys got to experience one of those rings. Maybe some of you got to experience all. So yes, us as a whole fan base, it's been a long time. And I can understand why team or fans on the 50 plus age group, 40 or late 30s, are desperate for a championship, because they experienced what it took and what it tasted like. So I can understand. Don't get me wrong. Don't think I don't understand how it feels to, not win, or I have what I don't understand you guys, because I strongly do. I understand why you guys feel the way you do, because you're like, this is not what I'm used to. I'm used to winning. So with that being said, my question, or what I want to talk about today, to follow up on my last video, is to stay patient, and why the Washington Redskins must stay patient, and why is that going to happen overnight. Because I already know how this season is going to go out. If this season doesn't go as planned, or as Redskins fans or just sports general and fans in general think for their team, if this season goes down in the trash hole, goes down and burns down, Redskins go 3-13 again, people are going to be calling for Ron Rivera's job already. That's just how it is. That's just the brutal reality of sports. Ron Rivera is going into his first year as a Redskins head coach, and he has very high expectations already. Now, for the realistic fans, like myself, like Ed Oliver, like Pedro Schmidt, like all the YouTubers out there for the Redskins, and some of the Redskins fan base, the realistic fans, we're not expecting us to be great year one. And that's why I'm saying you can't call for the guy's job first season. But you have those fans out there that are expecting Ron Rivera to come in, win 13 games, which is highly unlikely and highly unrealistic. And then if he doesn't live up to that, call for his job. You have those fans in this fan base. Unfortunately, it's a couple of those guys in every fan base. But for the Redskins, you have a lot of them in it. I remember when Jay Gruden first took over. When he didn't get to the playoffs one year, they were gunning for his job. And I'm like, dude, it's only his first, second, or maybe even third year. And I guess you can say third year is where you know whether or not he's the right man for the job. But in some cases, it's not. Some cases, it takes 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 years until a team can stay, to a team become, competitive. That's where the word stay patient comes into play. You have to stay patient. It's not going to happen overnight. And I don't care how old I am. I'm still going to be a Redskins fan. I'm never switching this out. And I have way more stuff. I just don't like putting it on, because that's it's a sneak peek, or should I say it's a surprise for the season. I got some more Redskins drip that I don't like putting on, because you got to wait till the season to see that. But I'm never switching this up for nothing. I don't care if we go 0-16 for the next 20 years. I'm still going to be a Redskins fan. But that's where the point goes. Stay patient. Stay patient. It doesn't happen overnight. The Redskins could go 0-16 for the next 5 years. Year 6, they start to take off. Because you stayed down till you came up. Like, for an example, I know it's not football, but basketball. 76ers, trust the process. They had a whole slogan, a whole, marketing for, that so-called word or slang. Trust the process. They actually sold shirts with trust the process all over it. We know from 2012 to probably, I would say 2016, probably for, I would say, a span of 8 years. 76ers were horrible. The bottom of the East every single year. Then they got Ben Simmons, they got Joel Embiid. They started to, build pieces to help this team become something good. They got Joel, they got Ben Simmons, they got Tobias Harris. They started to get pieces. They had Jimmy Butler for a time. it was all a process. They were horrible for all those years to get the first round pick every single year to draft guys like Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, Markelle Fultz. Although Markelle Fultz didn't pan out, they traded him to the Orlando Magic and got some compensation for him. You see where I'm going here? Trust the process is the biggest thing that you can do in sports. They were horrible for I would say close to 8 years. Now they're a contender in the East every single year. Every single year. This past year they were still, I think they were the 4th seed before the season got cut off. But we know that they were a capable 1st seed kind of team. Probably 2nd because, no one's beating the Bucks really in the East, obviously. But back to with the Redskins and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying here is trust the process, and it doesn't happen overnight. So why Redskins fans must stay patient is because it doesn't happen overnight. If you're coming in here with the expectations of Ron Rivera is going to turn over this team in 1 year, you might as well just not watch the season coming up. Because I'm telling you, I think the Redskins are going to have a 1-year turnaround. I think this year they can contend for a playoff spot. But I'm telling you this now. Don't be surprised if they don't contend for a playoff spot and they're actually, 6-10, 5-11 again. Because they're going to get a top pick. They're going to keep building for the future. Keep building around Dwayne Haskins. And then they're going to take off in probably year 3, year 2. Trust the process. Redskins fans must stay patient because we have a habit of being impatient. Like I said earlier in the video, we have a habit of being impatient. So the Redskins fans must stay patient if they do want to witness glory. Because you got to understand, real fans do. Real fans can connect on what I'm saying here. You got to stay patient. Because when you stay patient, the success feels that much greater. The success feels that much better when you stay patient. But then when you go into season out of season, expecting the Redskins to be great, knowing that we don't have the best talent out there, obviously the defense is great, but we still lack talent, we lack experience, you got to go out there with the mindset of, we're not expecting the best. Like I said in my video a couple of days ago, or maybe even a week ago, I said, expect the worst, hope for the best. That's what you got to do with the Redskins. Expect the worst, hope for the best. You expect the worst, so when they do go 4-12, 3-13, 5-11, you can be like, oh, I'm not really affected by it because I knew this was going to happen. Knew it was going to happen. So therefore, when it happens, you're just not hurt by it, or you're not fazed by it because you're expecting the worst and you hope for the best. When you hope for the best and it happens, it feels that much better. So Redskins fan, Redskins Nation, I know every Redskins fan is not going to see this, but I urge you guys to share it out to them. Stay patient. As always, me and Boy One Guy, like, comment, subscribe, help to the Redskins, turn on post notifications so you get notified when I upload a video about the NFL. In this case, I watch the Redskins. I'm out. Peace.